Good afternoon. Thank you so much for spending some time here today with us. My name is Sharon Parento, and I want to warmly welcome each of you here today for our brand new Townhouse virtual tour. I don't know what took me so long for this to dawn on me, but I think townhouses are a very undervalued property segment and the real estate market right now. And I think they have huge potential for two different segments of the population. Those are people who maybe own a condo apartment now and are considering moving up to something that has a bit of green space associated with it. And then other people who have the detached home and are interested in moving down, but they're not ready for a box in the sky. And that's what a lot of people think of as condos. So this is going to be a great learning experience for you. We are going to do our best to ignore my barking dog in the background. I put him out and he's letting the neighborhood know. So I want to say, first of all, a warm welcome to anyone who is new to our webinars and to those of you who are returning. My name is Sharon Parento. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, but I want to reassure you that I'm not here to sell you anything. I really just strongly believe that when I give you good information and an overview of your options, you're going to choose something that really suits you and works best for you and your lifestyle. So one of the things that you can request in our conversations without any cost or obligation is just that you'd like to be sent townhouse listings. And if you have a particular neighborhood or area that you know you want to live in, well, even better. But today we're going to have a broad overview of the townhouse market segment, okay? So let's get going. The first thing we're going to do is look at an MLS sheet. We always do this. If you were with me in my minivan and we were going out to look at townhouses together, I'd hand you a package of all the MLS sheets that we'd be looking at for the day, and they take a bit of decoding. So I'm just going to very briefly go through what you can see, because we've also included the MLS sheets for each of the properties that we are looking at today. I think there are 8. Okay, so let's look at what information you can mine from this kind of abbreviated, coded text here. So first of all, we're looking at the list price. I'm going to suggest that the list price is not always what we pay in the end. Sometimes we end up having to go over asking if there's a competition amongst buyers, or sometimes we are under asking. It just depends where I assess fair market value to be when I'm representing you. So I do my research and I say, hey, I think this is a little overpriced. Let's try to go in, and we go from there. We also have to look at the property taxes. This is going to be a big difference in townhouses, whether or not they are condo or freehold, and we are going to get to that in a second. But regardless, your tax bill is going to be considerably lower than in a detached home, if that's where you are right now. Now, some of them have maintenance fees, but unlike a condo apartment, a condo townhouse doesn't typically have fees that are quite as high because there's not as much included. That makes sense, right? Some of them, however, are every bit as high as an apartment, but there's a reason for that, and we will get back to it. We also want to know what's included. So in a condo townhouse, sometimes it's just grass, snow removal, garbage, visitor parking that's maintained. But in other condo complexes, it's windows, it's roof, it's gardening, it's, the whole shebang. Okay, so we really want to pay attention to what's included, because believe it or not, if you are in a detached home right now, you're already paying maintenance fees. You just don't really think of it that way. For example, just yesterday, I've been talking about this for months. I'm so happy. I got my new windows ordered for installation in January. And I didn't really put money aside for those new windows, but I really need them. So I'm going to have a big outlay of money and then I won't do it again, probably for the duration that I'm here. But in a condo, you can't do it that way. You have to be maintaining all the way along and putting money aside. So everything that you use on a day-to-day basis, as well as an emergency slush fund, as well as a schedule of maintenance, all of that is covered sometimes in a condo. So we're going to pay attention to that, and we're going to pay attention to some other important numbers. Most of the most of the townhouses we're looking at today are at least 3 bedrooms, but not always. I managed to find a 1-bedroom townhouse. So we want to know how many washrooms, how many bedrooms. Oh, and we also want to know things like, is the parking on the driveway of the townhouse, or is it underground parking? It can vary. How many spots? Okay, so again, you're going to notice that these are typically larger than a condo apartment, but a townhouse can be anywhere from, we're going to see one that's 500 square feet. Can you believe that? And they go all the way up to 3,000 square feet. Like it's much more variable. And then we also are looking for a comparison of size and price and location. And all of these things are your preference. There's no right or wrong. There's not like the best townhouse versus, something else. It's what's important to you. So sometimes this doesn't quite apply into the townhouses because we're not worried about how high up they are, but we do want to see what kind of interior photos are there to give us an idea of the condition and the quality, because every buyer, you included, is looking for the best condition at the lowest price. And so those pictures will give us a peek into it. Not always do they tell the full story, but we're going to see some interesting features that I have pulled just from the gallery of photos that were included with the listing. So there's that. And then we have a property description there where it's telling you everything that's included. Now, most homes these days, whether that is a condo apartment, a freehold townhouse, a detached, a semi-detached, most of the time the appliances are included. The days of moving your fridge are kind of over. So we want to know exactly what's included. Are we having light fixtures and window coverings? Usually yes. Is there a garage door opener with remotes? Sometimes yes. So all of those things that are going to add value to your property potentially, those are the things we want to look at. Okay, so the other things that I can tell you as an insider, sometimes you need a realtor to give you the inside scoop about a property. And one of the things that's really critically important to negotiating is how long it's been on the market. Now, if you've been to one of our webinars before, I tell you that this number doesn't tell the whole story, because lots of times if a listing has gotten kind of stale, it's been on the market more than a month or so, the realtors will cancel that listing and relist it identically, but that clock starts over again. So one of the things I really need to do when I'm working for my buyers is dig into the past history of that particular property to see, how many days has it actually been listed, because we can use that for some bargaining, right? To say, obviously you've been on the market 87 days and you're overpriced. So here's our offer that we believe to be closer to real time market value. So that's something that's very interesting. Hold on just a second. I also want to tell you that we can find out the name of the seller. And you would think, well, why is that relevant? Again, because depending on the circumstance, if it's an estate sale, then sometimes we can get it for a bargain because the family wants it to be done quickly. They don't want to have to maintain it with property taxes and utilities. So sometimes there's an opportunity there. Or if, unfortunately, it's a bank take back where they've defaulted on the mortgage, again, sometimes those can be good bargain opportunities for my clients. So right now, there is in the anything under $1 million, in some neighborhoods, we are seeing um, agents saying we're not taking any offers until a specific date. And the idea is that on that particular date, everybody who has seen the property and has interest in it has to wait and put their offer in all on the same date. And then we get more than one offer, and we get something more like an auction mentality where people are bidding up the price and we get a bidding war. That's where that comes from. It all originates from having a day, only one day that you are accepting offers on. So it doesn't seem like buyers love that right now, of course, because they fear having to overpay. But I'm going to tell you, we always have a strategy for our buyers in those kinds of circumstances. And it really just comes down to sticking to your number. At what number will you drop dead, in a sense, from not willing to spend $1 more? And that's how I encourage them to think of it, that there is an absolute number fixed in your mind and that you won't be pressured into going above that number. I have to tell you, though, that not all neighborhoods are doing that, and not all of these listings are doing it. But we may see some numbers, the price is artificially low because they want to draw lots of people in, and then they want to create that bidding war environment, like I said. Okay, so there are two basic types of townhouses out there in terms of the property status, and those are new construction and then the resale. So you have seen these all in the old farmers fields now, where it's just row on row of stacked townhouses. They tend to be flat roofed. They tend to have some standard luxury new type of features. It's almost like, you know, when Mercedes invented intermittent wipers, and then now you can find them in a Mazda 323, like it's no big deal, right? So it's the same thing, that luxury properties have established a certain expectation for new buyers, and this is going to be things like hardwood floors, you know, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, open concept main living area. So these are the kinds of features that you see in these new constructed townhouses. We're going to talk about stacked townhouses in a second, and I'm going to show you what that means. And then we have resale condos, and they can range in age from like 10 years to 40 years old. And of course, the older they get, they tend to diverge in terms of the condition. There's going to be some of them that have been completely gutted and renovated and tricked out and are very modern, and then there's ones that are going to look, you know, pretty original, and then there's going to be ones that are in the middle. So we have a greater variety of layouts in the older in the older townhouses. So whereas the new ones tend to be tall, narrow, lots of stairs, the resales can be a whole variety. And we're going to show you some of those, okay? So some of the nicest townhouses are in these established neighborhoods with big trees, some of them back out onto parks or ravine or green belt. Super nice. Okay. Now, when I say condo, you think apartment likely. That's what most people do. But condo, it just means a type of ownership. It's not an indication of the building. So we have two types of townhouses. We have freehold townhouses and we have condo townhouses. So freeholds have advantages and disadvantages. First of all, they tend to have a higher purchase price. They will be in the same neighborhood as much as $100,000 or $150,000 more than the same kind of property that is a condo townhouse. Any guesses why? You know, you can leave comments and questions in the chat box, right? Well, I think it's because they are deemed to be more valuable because they don't have the condo fees associated with them. So there are no maintenance fees, but then on the other hand, there is no maintenance. So you are responsible for everything. Like I said, I'm in a freehold townhouse right now, and I'm getting new windows. If there's something wrong with the roof, my issue. I'm gonna probably have to repave my driveway in the next couple of years. My issue. Grass and snow and all of that, my issue. And I'm going to tell you that I've had people who were in detached homes downsizing, and they said to me, I do not want to pay condo fees. I only want to see freehold townhouses. And then when we've gone to a couple of neighborhoods where it is freehold and everybody is responsible for their own maintenance or not, it really changed their minds. It really changed their minds, because the individual unit they were looking at was really lovely, but the neighborhood, some of the neighbors had weeds a foot high, or peeling paint, or a garage door that had hockey puck dents in it. It's like any freehold neighborhood. There are better and worse. So we have to be careful that when you're buying into it, that this is a well-maintained neighborhood, and they're not always. So if you're thinking of downsizing to escape exterior maintenance like grass and snow, well, this isn't going to happen in a freehold, is it? Your costs will be less, but you still have, if you're paying somebody to do those things, but you still have to take care of it yourself. And then there are condo townhouses. Now, as I said, these tend to be lower purchase price, right? They are much lower, but they do have monthly fees, and we are going to see fees that range from $125 a month for grass, snow, and garbage removal to $850 a month for full luxury recreational amenities. So they really run the gamut, $125 to $850 a month. Now, we want to know what's included. There are some condos where you are still responsible for your own roof and windows, and then there's other condos where they do everything on a rotating schedule. 1 year it's all the decks and fences, the next year it's all the roofs, and the next year after that it's all the windows, and they go on and on and on, and they are taking care of the whole complex so that it's beautiful, it's uniform, it's all the same good condition. Okay, so we want to know what's included for the price, and this is all things we can discover. Sometimes in those condo townhouses, it looks like just a little mini house with a garage and a driveway, and other times you're going to see there's underground parking. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so lots of interesting options, but let's start with the basics. So rather than thinking of condo or freehold, now we're kind of getting into the styles of properties available. We have the two-story townhouses, like what I'm sitting in. It just looks like a little mini house. And then we have three-story townhouses, which you're seeing more and more of. And these are the ones that tend to be tall and skinny. We're going to see the big difference in the outside space. Okay, this is the major difference between these two. So let's look at a real life example on MLS right now. I'm sorry, the picture's a little fuzzy-wuzzy, but this is an end unit freehold townhouse in Stouffville at $740,000. It's between 1,500 and 2,000 square feet. It has a full basement. Notice they didn't say finished, so it's not finished. A single car garage. And being an end unit, you only have one common wall. And so it's going to be something like, they say, like a semi versus like a townhouse. Okay, so let's have a look at this. The property taxes are $3,800 a year. So for some of you, that's going to be considerably lower. And look at the nice walk-in. So this is what townhouses offer that apartments don't. And that is, you have direct access. You've got your own little porch. You've got your square of sod, right? That's the two-story townhouse for you. And look at the interior. It's like a detached house, but just every principal room is smaller. And we've got this nice kitchen with a walkout to the deck. We've got this open concept living room and kitchen, nice big master bedroom. And then you can see with the deck, you've got you've got a fenced backyard. So I think the two-story townhouse is the closest thing to what most of you, I think, are probably living in right now, and that's a detached home. So there's lots of great aspects to it, but you see, you still got to worry about your grass. It's just less grass. And you still have to worry about your driveway. It's just a smaller driveway. Okay, so love this option, like this price point. This is one that is kind of a middle-aged property, you know, it's probably 5-7 years old, or maybe 10 years old, still in good condition. And that's the two-story. Now let's look at the three-story. This is, again, this one in Vaughan, $699. So it looks at first blush to be lower price than the two-story, but it's not. This is one of those ones where they are holding back their offers to a specific date with the intention of trying to bump the price up. So, and the bottom, you're going to see the extras. For $408 a month, we get water, so all of the water usage, snow, garbage removal, lawn care. And they say there are posh amenities. I couldn't find it. I have to tell you, I could not find the posh amenities. There was no link to it. But anyways, they say there are posh amenities. Let's just see. So there's your entrance, right? It says maintenance none, but actually we read it in the comments that there are $400 a month. And this is what we're talking about in terms of the underground parking. So you have your main living area, which is going to be living room, dining room, kitchen. You go upstairs to the bedrooms, and then you also have a subterranean level that's giving you direct access to your underground parking spot right by your door. So it's kind of like a hybrid, right? That you've got underground parking, you do have maintenance, but it still has living on multiple stories, which is what a lot of people are looking for these days, right? They going from a two-story house detached to this isn't such a big transition as going into a condo apartment. But you see, this is nice environment, and I would love to know what those posh amenities are before I could tell you whether or not it was a good deal. So, you know, that would take a bit more digging. So that's a really interesting option, isn't it? You drive in, you never have to shovel your snow. You're always, you know, getting into a warm car, kind of nice. Now, this is another type of property that is based on the number of stories. And in this case, it's only one story, but it's a townhouse. This is a townhouse bungalow, a bungalow townhouse. And this is in Swan Lake, which I absolutely love as a retirement community. So nice. So many great social activities when COVID isn't keeping everybody isolated. Wonderful gym, library. There's this great walking trail system. There is actually Swan Lake. You know, it's a gated community, so we also have security. It's a really, really nice place to retire. So you see the price point, $799, a little bit higher, but it's also a bit bigger than I think the ones we just saw. Let's have a look at it. See, you have your single car garage, and you walk in to the front there, and that's your front door. So it's all kind of covered and protected. And there's your maintenance, there's your taxes. Let's look inside it. Now, this person did not go to our staging workshop. I'm going to humbly suggest. They've broken a lot of the rules that I like to try to follow when I am preparing a home for sale. There was like 30 pictures like this. So lots of furniture, lots of personal items, but I wanted you to see the nice vaulted ceiling and the kind of open flow between the rooms, but all the principal living is on one level. So fantastic as an age in place. Well, you said, Sharon, there's stairs there. What's that to? That's to the finished basement. Isn't that so cool? It's like another a couple hundred square feet. They've turned it into a guest bedroom. It even has a washroom down there. So even though you're paying fairly steep condo fees, you have like a membership to the Swan Club, and that's what that building is on the right. And there are all kinds of indoor pools, tennis courts, fitness facilities, and a very, very active social community. So it's a great place. And you can see you've got walkout space. I showed you this picture with the barbecues because you can see the fences there. Those fences were all new last year, and they have been working their way through the complex, replacing all the decks. So this is what's covered in your money. It's truly turnkey living. You never have to worry about anything on the outside of your property. You just turn the key and go up to the cottage, go down to Florida whenever that's allowed again, and you can see. So these are bright, high ceilings. Oh, there's also a model for sale right now that is a bungalow loft. So same idea, all the main living is done on one floor. And then where you have a vaulted ceiling here, it's actually even a bit taller, and there's a bonus room up there that could be a second family room, an office, a guest bedroom, whatever. So that's what I love about these townhouses, is that there's so much flexibility in the layout. You get all your living on one floor, but you might also get a bonus finished basement. And that would be terrific if you thought that the space was going to be a pinch for you if you're downsizing. Okay. So now we get to these ubiquitous stacked townhouses. They're everywhere. This is what you're seeing all the time. Why are they stacked? How is that different than a 3-story townhouse? Well, the 3-story townhouse, you go in your front door, you usually go up a set of stairs and there's your main, but not always. Sometimes you come up your front door and then there's your main. With the stacked townhouses, we actually have 2 separate addresses in the same chunk. So we actually have a lower unit and an upper unit. That's why they're stacked. Why do builders build them? Well, number one, they're cheap to build. They don't have to be concrete like a condo. Lots of times they are a wooden structure, and it allows them for every 20 feet to have 2 different properties sold. So that's why you're seeing them. It's because they are high enough density that they're profitable for developers. So let's just look at what we're talking about here. So this is at the corner of Aurora and Wellington, but it's example, it could be in any neighborhood. There are a ton of these going up right now for the reason I just said. They're very, very profitable for the developers. And they are built to a specific price point that it appeals to first-time buyers, right? $669 for a 2-bedroom, 3-washroom townhouse is not, not that hard to imagine as a first-time buyer. So we've got some maintenance fees, but lower because it is really just gardening and snow plowing and garbage removal. And you're responsible for all of your own utilities. And there is underground parking here. So that's the thing. Do we have underground parking? Usually with a stacked townhouse, I'm going to say like 90% of the time, they have also added underground parking. Okay, so that sometimes means that you can walk up through your unit like we saw, that you park outside your unit door and then go up through your own unit. Sometimes it means you park downstairs and then have to come up another set of stairs. Those ones I don't like. So this is in Aurora, like I said, and I want to show you what it looks like inside. So there's your doors. Now, do you see this? We've got 3 doors, and yet so 2 of the doors belong to the same chunk. I don't know how to explain that, except that one of them is going to be right there, right at ground level. You see their patio, that's them. Another unit is going to be up a flight of stairs before they even get to their front door. Wait till I show you. See this? The picture on the right. you open that door and you go up these stairs and you haven't even hit your unit yet. So you go there and this is what you have all on one level. Then you go up another set of stairs and there are 2 bedrooms and a family washroom. Then you go up another set of stairs, and because you don't have any kind of backyard or front yard, you have this rooftop patio. Yeah. You can tell by my kind of lack of enthusiasm. They have a really great place in the market for young people who don't mind stairs. That's kind of a generalization. I apologize. Maybe some of you think this would be a great alternative to the gym every single day, but every piece of furniture, every can of soup has to go up 2 flights of stairs. Crazy. So anyways, that's what a stacked townhouse is. And when you're driving along Major Mackenzie or 16th Avenue or Highway 7 and you see them, you can know that these people have very strong quads from going up and down the stairs. Okay, but this is new construction. So you see what I mentioned before, stainless steel appliances. In this case, it's not hardwood, it's laminate, and just kind of a general open, airy feel. So I wanted you to see exactly what this is like for the people who live here. Great for youngsters, I'm going to suggest. Did I already say that 47 times? Yeah, I'm not a fan of this particular model because I think it has a lot of, it's quite problematic. So this is an example of the other unit. So do you see, as we're looking at the front door, there's a set of stairs up, and you can't quite see it, but there is a set of stairs down. This is one of these ones that you don't get direct access from your unit. You park in an underground garage and then you got to come up through a stairwell. But look at the maintenance, super cheap, super cheap, because this is a tiny 1 bedroom. Let's look at it. Okay. So again, they have some nice aspects to them. Okay, what's the number one benefit of this model? It's the least expensive. Not just in this size or in the 2-bedroom size. The 2-bedroom size is about another $70,000, so it's like $570,000. So as a price, they are very low. But you are half a story underground. Do you see that? I wanted you to see exactly what we're dealing with here. We've got windows in the back in the bedrooms, but the whole front of the unit is this walk down section here. So you are getting natural daylight from the sliding patio doors. That is the entire front. There is also, you know, the glass door of the front door, all that, but you're living underground. It's like one step up from a basement apartment. It really is. So these again are being built because they achieve home ownership at a lower cost than a condo, in a sense, a condo apartment, because the maintenance is lower. Okay, questions? Don't forget, you can ask questions anytime. So these are pretty popular. Now, this is such a cool idea. This is where we have an apartment with a typical apartment tower above, but the main floor is like a townhouse. And I've been seeing these a lot lately. There's a couple of places that I really think. There's one on Burr Oak, a low-rise building, and these are fantastic. I love this. I'm going to show you why. Well, we have a bit of a price point here. Like, that's not cheap, $880. But this is a 2-story townhouse where you have all of the apartment amenities. Everything that you would enjoy in the apartment, the condo apartment, you get in the condo townhouse. So that's security, that's concierge, that's indoor gym, all of it. The party room, the guest suite, everything. So it's like living in a condo apartment, but it's 2 stories. And here, wait till you see the pictures inside. You've got this beautiful concierge. This is a luxury building, and you get direct access to your unit from the street level. You see that door there? Now, I chose this a little bit reluctantly, but there wasn't a huge number of options in this segment of townhouses. So it's kind of cluttered, but you'll see that front door there. You could come in and out of that front door. You don't ever have to go into an elevator, and you still get all of the benefits of having concierge, security, fitness, et cetera, et cetera. You've got your own patio. You can grow some pots. You can, looks like they got zucchinis or cucumbers growing there, and tomatoes, and typical new construction. And plus, the upper story has a balcony from the master bedroom. So it really is like a hybrid. It's a hybrid between a condo apartment and a townhouse. So that's a really cool option, especially if you love to travel. If you love to travel, this is a wonderful option for you, because this could just be your Toronto home base. And if you're, you know, up and off, or if you have a pet and you really want to be in a condo, but you don't like the idea of being in a condo where you've got to take Fluffy up and down in the elevator, right? Perfect. We brought one of these units for clients who had dogs, and to them it was just, pardon the pun, but the cat's meow. So they really enjoyed the fact that they didn't have to go through the lobby, they didn't have to go through the hallways, and especially with, you know, COVID concerns lingering for the next number of months, this is a good option just from your safety, your security, and you do have direct access to your unit. I love that. Now, this is very interesting. Somebody gets genius points for this property type as well. This is a property where you actually own 2 units, one above the other. One of them you live in, and one of them you work from or rent out. So this is a possible source of passive income. This is fantastic. Let's look at this. So not cheap, 1.2 million, but it's a huge unit in the Box Grove, which is kind of the far east side of Markham now. Fantastic size, really nice layout. But you see that? You live upstairs and you rent out or use for your own business the downstairs. Holy moly, look at the taxes though. Oh, that's a big chunk of change. The equivalent detached property at 1.2 is not paying $8,300, $8,400 in property taxes. We have a property listed now that's about that price point, and their taxes are under $5,000. So yeah, woo. But in terms of owning it as an live and invest, what a great idea. So this is what you get. You get your townhouse, where this is actually the back. See the red brick? That's the back of the unit. And so you have your underground, well, no, your garage there. It looks like it's kind of a 2-car garage. Sometimes they're not quite 2 cars, but like 1 7/8 of a car. So double car garage, according to the listing. And then you go and you have your beautiful unit, really, really nice unit. Like that's very classy. On the 2 levels, we see kitchen, living room, dining room, and then you can see I included this this hallway picture to see that we've got the bedrooms kind of arranged like a typical house. But then you've got this big main floor commercial / retail space. I did not know these existed until just recently. I saw one on Jane Street that one of my colleagues has this unit rented out, and he had it rented out for, it was much smaller than this. It was about $1,500 a month. It was really just kind of the size of a room, but it had storefront access. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Did you know these existed? Because I sure didn't. So only in the last 6 months have I seen more and more of these being built as people realize that they're going to be working from home, possibly for quite some time. So imagine a professional setting up shop down here. That would be fantastic. Okay, so as you can see, there is a wide array of property options and styles, like property types. We've looked at the 2-bedroom, 2-story, 3-story, the stacked, the bungalow or bungalow. We've seen these work and live properties. And so far, we've been pretty budget conscious, well, with the exception of this. But I wanted to show you that there are lots of townhouses out there that are fully the price of a detached home. So just because it's townhouse does not mean that this is somehow downscale. This is 2,500 square feet. It has its own elevator, and it's listed for $1.5 million. This is not uncommon, by the way. This is not some like one-off. These are fairly available. What you see is that you've got a much bigger unit, you've got luxury fit and finish, and then, like we said, huge property taxes, because these are all new construction, and the new construction gets the full weight of the property tax. That's a major advantage of resale, older resale, is that the property taxes are proportionately lower. Anyways, let's have a look inside this. Gorgeous kitchen, beautiful common area there, a courtyard, luxury fit and finish throughout, this nice rooftop terrace, and an elevator. Have you ever wanted to have your own elevator? Well, for the low price of $1.5 million, we can get you an elevator. So this is another option. Obviously, at the high end of the scale, we've seen the 1-bedroom subterranean, looks like a basement apartment at $499, and now we have 1.5. So there is just one lesson to take, and that townhouses are very, very flexible in terms of their layout, their cost structure, their ownership, all of that, right? This is why I really thought there was a need for this webinar, is because people don't recognize that townhouses are like the overlooked middle child. How many of you are middle children? So townhouses are the overlooked middle child of the real estate world. Everybody focuses on the condo market doing its thing, apartments, and then detached doing its thing. But I think this has a lot of potential for people who are still active and don't, maybe you have a unit that has stairs, but let's look at the advantages compared to an apartment. Well, first of all, you don't have to worry about going through a lobby or going into the elevators, right? It's direct access to your unit. And for lots of us who are aware of COVID concerns, very, very important. I'm going to suggest also that they are easier to resell because there are fewer of them available. It's always the law of supply and demand. And you can see the chart on the bottom where I've given you some idea. I think also for the most part, they are a lower price per square foot because they tend to be bigger. So typically, they also most of the time have some kind of open outdoor space. We saw that with the stacked condos. Sometimes that's just a rooftop terrace, but it's still bigger than like an apartment balcony, right? And if we're looking at the 2-story one that looks like a little mini house, we've got both a front yard and a backyard. That's what I live in. We also have basements. You don't have those in a condo apartment, do you? And there's a lot greater variety of possible layouts. So there we go. But there are also some big advantages compared to detached properties. Quicker resale, again, because they don't come up and because they are more affordable. There isn't enough supply to meet demand, so they sell very quickly. So thinking down the road as a potential investment, yeah. They have lower carrying costs, so the property taxes are lower, their utilities are lower, and your property insurance is lower. And if you wanted to, we could find you a maintenance-free property. And we're also going to suggest that even if it isn't maintenance-free, if it's not a condo townhouse, if it's a freehold townhouse. There's still a lot less yard work in a condo backyard than in a detached backyard, usually, right? And sometimes, depending on where you choose to purchase into, you might have a full range of amenities like doggy spa or guest suite or party room or concierge, whatever it is. So you can really choose what's important to you and see the days on market, how quickly townhouses sell. Again, because they are high demand for both the move up buyer and the move down buyer. You can see that the average sale price leaves you with a chunk of change. If you are in a detached home right now, you're going to have some leftover, and they're not that much more expensive than a condo apartment in average. Look at that nice return. Now, it's interesting. In York region, detached homes have had this kind of renaissance, a revival, as people are moving up from the downtown core, and they're looking to take advantage of low interest rates. It hasn't always been this way. Actually, this year, we're seeing increases in detached home sale prices that we haven't seen for a couple of years, for sure. Last year was abysmal. You're lucky to get 5% year over year. This year, we're into, double digits for sure, depending especially on the neighborhoods, right? Some neighborhoods are far higher than 12%. So anyways, but as an investment property, just taking it from the less maintenance, less tax, all of that, lower carrying costs, this is a really good option. If you could take the difference between what you purchase the townhouse for and what you sell your detached home for, that could really do a lot to make a better retirement, right? So I like them. Speaking of which, if you are counting on the value of your home to help fund your retirement, and at least 70% of Canadians are, we have a brand new webinar for you. This is our online seminar called The Upside of Downsizing, and it's going to look at the numbers aspect of downsizing. We do a lot in terms of staging and renovating and all of that, right? You know that. But this is really getting down to brass tacks. This is what can you expect from the difference, and what can you do to help create a better retirement for yourself. So this is a brand new one, and we are going to be doing this for the first time next Thursday. And so I really would invite each of you and ask you to pass along an invitation to anyone who is really starting to think seriously about their financial future, because it's a big deal. And most of us don't have company pensions anymore, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to live in a big house and not be able to have coal on the fire, coal in the furnace? Okay, so come out and see. And then I also want to tell you about decluttering, because it's the number one thing you can do to add value to whatever property you're living in. And I don't just mean resale value, I mean enjoyment value. By decluttering your home, you are going to feel lighter, brighter, more optimistic. And as we get ready for winter, this is something you can really benefit by. It's a 30-day decluttering challenge where we give you a task and a tip every day for 30 days. And this is what your tracker looks like. This is just the tracker sheet, but the emails that come to you are going to inspire you, help you to keep accountable to yourself, and have little short tasks for a day at a time. Okay, so we hope that you will sign up for that. This is a really popular offering, and even if you have to go through it a couple of times, it's still going to be better than doing nothing at all. Am I right? Okay, don't forget those comments. This is a time to add your comments. And then we do condo apartment tours. I know I've just done this big long spiel about condo not necessarily being an apartment, but we do look at apartments because for some people, that's just the way they want to go. And I love to keep my nose in the market so that I can provide excellent advice when it is time. So every month we have different areas that we are looking at, and try to give you the same kind of expansive, high-level overview of the market in that neighborhood with a variety of options like we've done today, okay, but applied to the apartment segment. So we have all of these webinars available for you. These are really the kind of core of our educational aspect to the business that we do. We really love to help people figure out what's best for them, act as a consultant way before I'm ever your realtor. Of course, I do hope to be your realtor one day, but that's not the intention. The intention is to give you excellent information and work with you on the questions that you have. So if you have any questions, we do have a few minutes left to please write those into the text, into the chat box, and we can get to them. So I hope that you will join us for one of our other webinars. And I'm just going to see what's in the chat box now. Very informative. Thanks. You are welcome. Yes, it is my pleasure. I think that townhouses are really the next big thing. Maybe this is where I'll specialize. I'll be the townhouse queen. So yes, I really, really like this as an option for people who don't need to hold on to the 2,500 square foot house, but they're not quite ready for an apartment. So any questions about what it means to live in a townhouse? If you want me to send you townhouse listings, please reach out. It would be my great, great pleasure to do so. I'm glad you found it informative. Thank you, Jerome. So I'll just give you another 30 seconds to type anything in that you'd like us to know. How about where are you watching from today? And how come you're not out raking leaves? I'm glad you're not out raking leaves. I'd be talking to myself as usual. Where are you watching from today? Are you in the GTA, York region, Durham region, further afield? How did you find us? Did you see us online? Is it from our previous webinars? What's going on there? Anything you can tell? Oh yes, Ohio already raked the leaves today. Yes, we have this beautiful little window of opportunity. I think after this, I'm going to head over to Home Depot and get me some outdoor lights, so I don't have to freeze my fingers off. Okay, any other questions or comments before we exit for the day? Okay, well, it's been a real pleasure serving you with this information. Thank you. You're already in a 3-story townhouse. Don't do it. Well, yeah. So let's find you a nice bungalow townhouse, Linda. That would be the great next step, so that we don't have as many stairs. Or one of those wonderful, the ones that are attached, or the lowest floor of an apartment building. Some of those are really, really nice. So any other comments about it? Okay, well, I appreciate you being here today. And of course, I could not do this without our amazing operations coordinator, whose name is Melinda. She's on the call. No, Melissa. I was looking at Linda. Melissa, thank you, Melissa, for pulling all this together. We're going to do this periodically. We're going to add it to our offerings list. So rest assured, you will be getting this presentation emailed to you so that you can click on the links, that you can have a closer look at some of the properties that we've included. And I just have to tell you that there was a lot to choose from in terms of York region as a big swath of a market. So, let me know what you liked and what you'd like me to search for, and I'm happy to do so. Okay, well, I am going off now. We have a client who just purchased a condo in Markham, and it was an estate sale, so we got it at a good bargain. And today we are getting it measured for new hardwood floors. So I'm off to go do that. And then hopefully I'll get out to some raking and Christmas lights. Okay, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you. Bye for now.